You walk every day like your doctor told you, 30 minutes, sometimes more. But you still struggle getting up from the couch, still need to grab the counter when standing from the toilet, still feel your legs shaking on the stairs. And you're wondering why all this walking isn't making you stronger or steadier. Forget walking as your main strength and balance builder. There's one specific exercise that does this job faster, more safely, and more directly for keeping you independent after 60. I'm talking about chair stands, simple sit-to-stand repetitions from a sturdy chair. And I'm going to show you why this one movement builds the strength and balance you actually need better than walking ever could, and how to start it safely today, even if your legs feel weak right now. I'm Dr. Serena Serrati, and for over 2 decades I've helped older adults stay in their own homes, on their own feet, and in control of their lives. I've seen people who walked every single day, faithfully, and still couldn't get off the toilet without help. I've watched patients shuffle for miles around the block but freeze in fear at a low restaurant booth because they weren't sure they could stand up. So let's talk about why that happens and how chair stands fix it. Walking is wonderful for your heart, mood, circulation, and overall health. If you enjoy walking and your doctor says it's safe, keep it. It truly matters. But research shows that walking alone, especially at a comfortable pace on flat ground, doesn't build the leg strength and balance you need most to stay independent after 60. And that's exactly where so many seniors are getting misled. When you walk at a comfortable pace, your legs are only loaded at about 20 to 30% of your body weight with each step. That's just not enough resistance to force your muscles to grow stronger, especially after 60 when natural muscle loss speeds up. Think of it as endurance training, not strength training. You're teaching your body to go longer, not to lift more. That's why you can walk half an hour and still feel weak when you stand up. Here's the analogy that makes it click. Walking for strength is like reading the same easy book over and over again. It's a nice habit, but it doesn't train you to handle harder material. In the same way, walking on flat ground doesn't challenge your muscles or your balance system enough to trigger real change, especially if you're walking slowly and carefully like many seniors naturally do. And here's the bigger issue. Walking trains straight-ahead movement, one foot in front of the other. But you don't lose your independence when you can't walk one more block. You lose it when you can't stand up from the toilet, get out of a chair, climb stairs, or recover after a stumble. Those are vertical weight-shifting movements, and walking simply doesn't train those patterns in a targeted way. So you get this painful mismatch. You can walk the neighborhood but dread your own staircase. You get in the car just fine, but getting out is a wrestling match with the door and the frame. You can stroll through the grocery store, but getting up from a low couch at your daughter's house makes you want to cancel the visit. Those aren't cardio problems. They're strength and balance problems. This is exactly where chair stands come in. Physical therapists and fall prevention specialists rank sit-to-stand training as one of the single most important exercises for older adults because it directly trains the movement pattern that keeps you living independently. You sit in a sturdy chair, you stand up, you sit back down with control, and you repeat. Simple, but deceptively powerful. Picture yourself doing one right now. You're sitting in a firm, non-rolling chair with your feet flat and hip-width apart. Your knees are bent to about 90 degrees, your back is upright, and your bottom is all the way back in the seat. You lean forward slightly, shift your weight onto your feet, stand up tall, pause, then lower yourself slowly back down until you gently touch the chair. Here's why that simple move is such a game changer. Every chair stand loads your leg muscles with about 60 to 80% of your body weight, 2 to 3 times the load of walking. Your quadriceps on the front of your thighs, your glutes in your hips and buttocks, your hamstrings, your core, and your lower leg stabilizers are all working hard together. That's real resistance training, not just moving around. And you're not just strengthening random muscles. You're training the exact pattern you use 20, 30, even 40 times a day in real life. Getting off the toilet, standing up from the couch, rising from the dinner table, getting out of the car. The more you practice that specific movement under safe, controlled conditions, the more automatic, powerful, and stable it becomes in daily life. On top of strength, chair stands are powerful balance training. When you move from sitting to standing, your center of gravity shifts forward and upward, Your base of support changes from chair plus feet to feet only, and your brain and body have to coordinate that transition. Your proprioceptive system, the internal GPS that tells you where your body is in space, is working full time. That's exactly the kind of stimulus that improves balance. Compare that to walking on a flat sidewalk you know well. It's steady, predictable, and your brain can almost go on autopilot. That's good for relaxation, not so good for challenging your balance reactions. Chair stands are like doing a focused balance drill while also strength training your legs. And that combination is incredibly protective against falls. The research numbers are eye-opening. Repeated sit-to-stand programs in older adults have been shown to improve functional leg strength by roughly 40 to 60% over 8 to 12 weeks of consistent practice. Walking-only programs in similar age groups usually produce at most 10 to 15% strength gains, and sometimes none that are meaningful. That's about 4 times the improvement in strength from chair stands compared to walking alone. When it comes to falls, the story is similar. Exercise programs that include targeted strength and balance work, and chair stands are right at the heart of those. Reduce falls by about 23 to 34% in community-dwelling older adults. That's not just feeling better. That's real-world prevention of broken hips, hospital stays, and forced moves to assisted living. Walking alone doesn't come close to that kind of fall reduction impact. Now, to make this truly useful, you need a clear, safe way to start. So let's go through 3 levels: beginner, intermediate, and advanced. Your job is to honestly pick where you are today, not where you wish you were. Starting low and progressing smart is how you avoid injury and actually stay with it long enough to see the big wins. Level 1 is for you if your legs feel weak. You usually push off with your hands to get out of chairs, or you fear losing your balance when you stand. Start with a sturdy, non-rolling chair that has arms, backed tight against a wall so it can't slide. Sit with your feet flat and hip-width apart, knees around 90 degrees. If the chair is too low or too high, add or remove a firm cushion until it feels natural. Place both hands on the armrests. Take a normal breath in, then as you lean forward slightly and stand up, breathe out. Use your arms as much as you need to help your legs lift you. This is not cheating at this stage. It's smart safety. When you're fully upright, pause for a moment, then inhale as you slowly lower yourself back down, using your arms to control the descent. For level 1, you're aiming for just 3 to 5 slow, controlled repetitions. That's it. Think of each one as teaching your body a new, safer way to stand. Do this 2 to 3 times across the day, for example morning, midday, and evening, with plenty of rest between attempts. Your main goals here are safety, confidence, and cleaner movement, not big numbers. Stay at level 1 for at least 1 to 2 weeks, or longer if you need it. You'll know you're ready to move on when those 3 to 5 reps feel smoother, your arms are doing less of the work, and you no longer feel like you're about to tip forward or lose control. If at any point you feel chest pain, pressure, severe dizziness, or sharp joint pain, stop immediately and talk to your healthcare provider. Level 2 is for you if you can stand up with only light hand support and your balance is fair but not perfect. You can use a sturdy chair with or without arms, but it must not slide. Again, putting it against a wall or on a non-slip surface is ideal. Sit the same way, feet hip-width, knees about 90 degrees, chest up, shoulders relaxed. This time, your hands rest lightly on your thighs or hover just in front of you. Lean forward slightly, shift your weight onto your feet, and stand using mainly your legs, with your hands only there for a little balance if needed. At the top, stand tall. Feel your weight evenly through both feet and breathe. Then lower yourself back down over 2 to 3 seconds, keeping that same control, and gently touch the chair before your next rep. At level 2, the target is 8 to 10 repetitions per set. By the last couple of reps, your thighs should feel tired and warm. That's what you want. Rest for about 60 seconds, then repeat for a second set. If you tolerate that well for a few sessions, you can build to 3 sets, done 3 to 4 days per week to give your muscles time to recover and rebuild. To layer in more balance challenge safely at this level, start adding a pause at the top. Stand up, hold your standing position for 3 to 5 seconds. Focus your eyes on a fixed point. Then sit back down slowly. That little pause forces your stabilizing muscles and proprioceptive system to work harder, which translates directly to better balance in real life. You're ready for level 3 when 3 sets of 8 to 10 feel solid with little or no hand contact, and your confidence has clearly grown. Level 3 is for you if your balance is good, you haven't had recent falls, and you can get in and out of chairs at home without using your hands most of the time. Now you'll use a sturdy, armless chair, again against a wall or on a non-slip surface. Sit tall with feet hip-width and flat, knees about 90 degrees. This time, cross your arms over your chest so your legs and core have to do all the work. Lean forward just enough to load your legs, then drive through your feet and stand up in about 2 to 3 seconds, exhaling as you go. At the top, stand tall and steady for a second. Then, lower yourself back down over 3 full seconds, feeling your thighs and glutes working to control your body all the way to the seat. That slow lowering is where a huge amount of strength gets built. At this level, aim for 10 to 15 repetitions per set, 3 sets, about 4 to 5 days per week. That's serious training, and your legs will know they've worked. As this starts to feel easier over a few weeks, you can progress by slightly lowering the chair height with a firm cushion removal, slowing your tempo even more, or holding light weights at your sides to increase resistance. Always in small steps, never huge jumps. Now, how do you make all of this feel doable, not overwhelming? You build it into things you're already doing. One of the most powerful retention tricks for both your brain and your habits is to attach a new behavior to an old habit. So instead of, I have to remember to exercise, it becomes, every time I do X, I add a few chair stands. For example, before each meal, do 1 set. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner become 3 built-in opportunities. Or every time you stand up from your favorite TV chair, sit back down and do 3 intentional chair stands before you walk away. You're already there, already standing. You're just adding 2 extra minutes of targeted strength work. You can also tie it to bathroom visits. Each time you stand from the toilet, pause, sit back down, and do 2 or 3 more controlled chair stands with the toilet or nearby counter as backup support. That way, the exact movement you care most about, getting off the toilet safely, is being practiced over and over under your control. Tiny doses, repeated often. Do more for seniors than rare, huge workouts. Let's set realistic expectations so you don't quit right before the changes show up. In the first 1 to 2 weeks, most people don't feel dramatically stronger, but the movement itself starts to feel more familiar and less awkward. Your brain and muscles are building a smoother connection. This is called neuromuscular adaptation. You might notice that standing feels just a little less scary. By week 3 or 4, many older adults can do more repetitions or need less hand support than they did on day 1. You realize you're not bracing yourself quite as hard every time you stand. Getting out of your own couch may feel a touch easier, and you don't dread restaurant chairs quite as much. These are early, but very real wins. By 6 to 8 weeks of consistent practice, 3 to 5 days a week, the changes often become obvious to you and to people around you. Family members may comment that you're getting up more smoothly or walking more confidently. You might notice that stairs feel less terrifying or that your legs don't tremble as much when you stand in the shower. This is when many seniors say, I didn't realize how weak I'd gotten until I started feeling strong again. By around 12 weeks, research shows clear, measurable improvements in standardized sit-to-stand tests and balance confidence scores in older adults who commit to this kind of training. Many people progress from struggling with 5 chair stands using armrests to performing 10 to 15 controlled reps with arms crossed. That isn't hype. That's exactly the size of strength gains seen in well-designed studies on this kind of movement. Now we need to address the what if it hurts questions, because they're real. If you have knee pain, your first adjustment is height. Use a higher chair or add a firm cushion so your knees don't bend as deeply. Less bend usually means less compression and less pain. Move slower, keep your knees aligned over your toes, and allow yourself to use your hands for partial support as needed. You can also do partial chair stands where you only come halfway up, pause, and sit back down. That smaller movement still engages your quadriceps and glutes without stressing the joint as much. If your knees swell or feel hot after later sessions, 10 to 15 minutes of ice and a conversation with your healthcare provider or a physical therapist are smart next steps. Pain that keeps building or lingers more than a couple of days needs professional eyes on it. For hip pain, a slightly wider stance with your toes turned a little outward often helps. Think about pushing your hips back as you sit, like you're aiming your bottom toward the back of the chair, and then driving them forward as you stand. That's a hip hinge pattern. It tends to load your hips and glutes more evenly and take strain off your knees and lower back. Avoid very low chairs if your hips are arthritic. Higher is almost always kinder to that joint. If your balance is very unsteady or you've had recent falls, your environment setup is everything. Place your chair so you can hold a sturdy countertop, fixed table, or even a properly adjusted walker with both hands at first. Think of that support as your safety rail. Over weeks or months, you can gradually reduce from two-hand support to one hand, then just fingertips. Then, if appropriate, no support. But there is no rush, and staying at a higher support level for months is completely fine if that's where you are. If you're extremely weak, maybe after a hospital stay or illness, it's okay to start even smaller. Sit right at the edge of the chair, lean forward, and just lift your bottom an inch off the seat. Then sit back down. That mini stand still recruits your leg muscles and starts reminding your body how to stand again. You can pair that with simple seated marching, heel raises, and leg extensions to build enough strength to progress to full chair stands later. Now let's revisit the don't list in a way that protects you without scaring you away. Don't ever use a rolling office chair or any unstable furniture for this exercise. A moving chair under you is a direct route to a bad fall. You want solid, non-slip, predictable support every time. Don't hold your breath. It's sneaky, and many people do it without realizing it. Holding your breath under strain can spike your blood pressure and leave you dizzy or faint. Instead, use a simple rhythm. Exhale as you stand, inhale as you sit. If you notice yourself getting lightheaded, the first thing to check is your breathing pattern. Don't rush through your reps. Fast bouncing up and down turns this into a momentum game, not a strength and balance builder. Remember, 2 to 3 seconds up, 2 to 3 seconds down every time. Slow is strong, especially after 60. Don't push through sharp joint pain, and don't expect miracles in 3 days. A deep muscle burn that eases when you rest is normal. A stabbing or grinding joint pain is not. And your body needs at least 4 to 8 weeks for true strength adaptation. If you quit at day 10 because you don't feel transformed yet, you're leaving all the benefit on the table. Finally, don't tell yourself that walking alone is enough for strength and balance. Walking is fantastic, but the data are clear that adding strength and balance training, including chair stands, reduces falls by roughly 30% or more compared with general activity alone. You're not betraying your doctor by doing more than walking. You're upgrading your safety plan. Now, here's a simple way to track your progress and keep yourself motivated. On day 1, sit in your chosen chair and see how many chair stands you can do in one set before you have to stop for safety or fatigue. Write down the number, what your hands were doing, full push on arm rests, light touch, or no support, and rate the difficulty from 1 to 5, where 1 is easy and 5 is I could barely finish. That's your baseline snapshot. Do your chair stands 3 to 5 days during that first week at your appropriate level. On day 7, repeat the exact same test. Same chair, same setup, same rules. Most people see at least a small improvement. 1 or 2 more reps, a slightly lower difficulty rating, or less need for their hands. Those little changes are proof your body is already responding. Then mark day 30 on your calendar for a bigger check-in. Same test again. How many repetitions? What level of support? How hard does it feel? A very common pattern over 30 days of consistent practice is going from 5 shaky reps with hands on armrests at difficulty 4 or 5 to 10-12 smoother reps with just light touch, or even arms crossed at difficulty 2 to 5. Those numbers aren't fantasy. They mirror the improvements seen in research on sit-to-stand training in older adults. Think about how that translates into your life. Being able to get off the toilet without grabbing the counter every single time. Standing up from a low restaurant booth without pushing the table away in embarrassment, and actually looking forward to going out to eat. getting out of the car smoothly instead of fighting the doorframe and hoping your legs don't buckle. It also means climbing stairs with more confidence, even if you still hold the railing, because now your legs have the power to lift you. It means tripping on a rug and catching yourself instead of crashing to the floor. It means carrying a basket of laundry or a bag of groceries up a few steps without feeling like your legs are going to quit halfway. For many, it even means getting down on the floor with grandkids or to reach something under the bed, knowing you have a realistic way to get back up, or continuing to garden, kneel, and stand repeatedly without feeling trapped at ground level. These aren't dramatic social media kind of victories. They're the quiet, private wins that let you stay in your own home, on your own terms, years longer. To structure your weekly dose, think in totals. The minimum effective amount for most older adults is about 30 to 40 total chair stands per week, split over 3 to 4 sessions. That might look like 10 reps on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. If you're already doing that easily, aim for the sweet spot of 60 to 100 total reps per week, spread across 4 to 5 days. Advanced individuals who have built up over time may go up to 100 to 150 total reps per week, but you don't ever need to push to that level to get major benefits. What you absolutely do need is rest. Your muscles don't get stronger while you're doing the exercise. They get stronger in the 24-48 hours afterward while they repair. That's why 2 to 3 rest days per week are not laziness, they're part of the prescription. If you wake up quite sore the day after a new or harder session, that's usually normal and should ease within a day or two. But if soreness is still intense after 72 hours, or your joints feel worse instead of better, that's a sign to reduce your volume or intensity and possibly talk with your provider. Progression in this age group is a slow dial, not an on-off switch. So here's the bottom line. Chair stands are, for most people over 60, the single most effective exercise to build the specific leg strength and balance you need to stay independent. They train the exact movement you use dozens of times a day, standing up, under controlled, safe conditions. They load your muscles at roughly 3 times the effective load of walking, which is why they build strength 3 to 4 times faster than walking alone. Programs that include exercises like chair stands, done consistently, reduce fall risk by around 1/3, compared with doing only general activity or walking. They require nothing but a sturdy chair, a few minutes, and a willingness to start where you are. And the reward is huge: the ability to get off any seat more confidently, to stay in your own home, and to depend less on others for basic daily tasks. Keep walking for your heart, brain, mood, and social life if it's safe and you enjoy it. But for strength and balance, the things that decide whether you can toilet yourself, climb your own stairs, and catch yourself when you trip, chair stands are far more targeted and far more powerful. If you had time and energy for just one strength exercise after 60, this would be it. Here's your challenge. Right after this, do your baseline test. As many safe chair stands as you can, with whatever support you need. Write it down. Then commit to 3 or 4 sessions per week for the next 30 days, at the level that fits your current ability, and track your progress on day 7 and day 30. Watch how your numbers change, and more importantly, how getting up in everyday life quietly starts to feel easier. If this helped you, subscribe to Dr. Serena Serrati. Senior Health, so you don't miss practical, evidence-based tools to keep you strong and independent. Remember, everything you've heard today is educational, not personal medical advice. Always check with your healthcare provider before starting if you have serious medical conditions, recent surgeries, uncontrolled blood pressure, heart disease, severe osteoporosis, or frequent unexplained falls. But don't let fear of moving keep you from the strength that protects you. Every single time you stand up from that chair with intention, you are literally building the strength that keeps you independent. Every repetition is a small deposit in the bank account of your future mobility, confidence, and dignity. Start today. Be consistent. Your future self, the one still getting up under their own power, will thank you for every chair stand you choose to do now.